Welcome back to the channel, everybody. So guys, today's video I'm hoping is going to help out you all as much as this team is going to be helping me out, and that is a 100% full auto, no clicking, literally jump in, walk away, come back, your one key is done, brutal Hydra team. 29.4 million damage is the amount of damage needed for one key, and my team did 66.5 million damage, which is, I'd say, pretty daggone impressive. Now, this was after making some adjustments to the team. Yesterday, when I initially got this team working, I did 45 million damage. So there's going to be some RNG, there's going to be some changes in the run, but overall, these are very impressive, and I'm very satisfied with the amount of damage that these teams have done, especially considering it's put it on the fight, set it on auto, walk away, come back, and you're done. You're good to go. No problem whatsoever. Now, I do want to give a big shout out before we start the video to Odd One Gaming. His video inspired me to actually do a full auto team. One key, Nightmare, full auto using free-to-play champs. If you guys want to check this out, if you have these champs, definitely go over there, check it out, drop a sub to his channel. But this was a very quality team. Also, my dad had a team that did 73 million, I think it was. And he kind of inspired me as well because he was calling me and saying, hey, you haven't used your Hydra keys yet, so you may want to use those. And his team did 72 million full auto. So I was like, dang, I'm going to have to try to keep up. So this is the team that I've came up with, and here we go. So let's go ahead. I'll jump into a match. I'll show you guys kind of how the team works, and then I'll go over the gear and everything like that, and then I'll actually do the run. So first thing, actually no, we'll talk about the gearing after this, but let's go ahead and see how the team actually works. So our Arbiter is going to do the speed boost. We have Cantra placing some debuffs. This right here, guys, two things I want to say are very, very important. First off, let me show you Cantra is behind me, which is pretty important because I'm not just missing her completely, but very, very important is you'll see Cantra in this turn order. If you try to make Ugo faster, because it may make sense, because for Cantra to place or provoke, we need 5 debuffs up. So if Ugo goes first, that sounds like it works the best. But in reality, if that's the way it happens, then Cantra is actually going to be going, well, after Ugo, which sounds good, but for some reason the heads come around and the Head of Mischief and the Head of Decay actually cut in and go before Cantra goes. Whereas if Cantra is going faster than Ugo, then it doesn't do that. I guess it's the turn meter based on the champion's turns they're taking. But either way, make sure Cantra gets back around to do her actual any turn whatsoever and allow her passive to actually take effect. Now here you'll see Necmo do his abilities. Crazy good turn meter manipulation. He does have a taunting set, so he sometimes does place provoke, kind of for a safety net in case Cantra misses it. The other thing that's super important is having War Master on all of your champions, or at least as many as you possibly can. War Master is so incredibly beneficial. We have Shamael to cleanse the fears, and he's also our Mischief tank. He has a Blood Shield accessory, and he has really high resistance, so you'll notice the Head of Mischief, whenever he attacks, Shamael should resist the Head of Mischief without too much of an issue. You should see Cantra coming back here and actually doing her provoke. The Head of Mischief attacked, Cantra got a turn, provoke is up, and we're good to go. So Shamael still had his buffs. Most importantly, still has his turn meter. The Head of Mischief has nothing, and we're continuing on our merry way. So we're going to continue out throughout the fight. I'm not going to let this run go very far. We'll save that towards the end of the video. But basically, you sit in this match with 9 debuffs on everybody. Unless they have Smite from Arbiter or Provoke from Cantra, then they'll have 10 debuffs. Though Smite doesn't actually count as a debuff as far as wasting space on the bar, I don't think. But with Cantra, it works out really good. You can't really bring a poison champion in here, so no toxic sets, nothing like that, because if you start placing poisons, you're going to fill the debuff bars too much, and you don't want that to happen. You can see right here, we have currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 debuffs currently placed, so we only have space for 1 more. So you really don't want to fill this bar, because if you miss a provoke, it's going to be a pretty bad time. You can do okay, because all these champions have pretty low cooldowns on their debuffs, but you don't really want to have to fight with getting blocked debuffs back up, decrease speed, the whole 9 yards. You ideally want to keep provoke up the entire match. So as far as the champion's gearing actually goes, I want to keep this video pretty short, pretty sweet, pretty to the point. If you guys have any questions, if I missed anything, leave it down below. I'll try my best to help in any way I can. But we're going to start off with Necmo Thar. So Necmo is in a provoke, kind of the extra safety net for Cantra. He's also in a revenge accessory. The counterattacks are nice. He has everything fully booked. and his masteries does have War Master. So these are his masteries. He does have War Master, which is very, very important. As far as his actual gearing goes, let's go ahead and check out his stats. He has pretty good HP. Honestly, I'd rather him have more HP, less defense, but overall, he's working very, very well. We have 235 speed. You'll notice this is kind of the range of all my speeds, but good speed. Crit rate, I don't have crit rate maxed on anybody. I kind of wish I did, but unfortunately, I don't have the gear to actually do that. We have 289 accuracy. Now, as far as the accuracy and resistance requirements, we're going to be looking right here. I need 450 resistance to resist everything, and I need 280 accuracy to place all my debuffs. But remember, we do have decreased accuracy going out on all the enemies, so we don't actually need 450 resistance. We need about half of that. So my resistance tank, my mischief tank, Shamel, has plenty of resistance to resist all the mischief hits. But as far as Necmo, that's his build. Provoke set, you don't have to go Provoke. You can definitely go Relentless, but this is what I'm liking. This is what I've been enjoying. This is what's worked out well for me. So that is Necmo. Next champion is Arbiter. So Arbiter, the build that I did for her, this one was in Guardian, I think. This one was in just a regular speed set at 370 speed. This one was at 235 speed, but now I'm trying her in Relentless gear with 289 speed. I feel like she was dying too quick with Guardian gear. Switched out to Relentless. She's going to bring some good turn meter boosting, some good heals on this ability as well. So hopefully helping my ally stay alive. She does have Smite. She does have a Brimstone, but if you can throw it on Necmo or Kantra, it's going to work out great as well. So get that if you can. It's not going to be the end of the world. It does help sometimes when it actually lands and it actually gets activated, but it doesn't always get activated. As far as her masteries go, War Master, once again, helps with those leech heals. It's just so good. It adds so much extra damage. Very, very nice. But as far as Arbiter, there's a lot of different builds you can go with her. I have her currently in Relentless. Good HP, good defense, very fast. Speed is very important. It's a common theme throughout this team is to have a lot of speed. We just want to take a ton of turns. Good accuracy, not quite high enough, but should be fine with her masteries being this one. So she should land her weekend majority of the time. The next champion is going to be Geomancer. So Geomancer is in also Relentless gear. He also has Revenge accessories to place that decreased accuracy on those counterattacks. I want this to be up as often as possible, and it's an AoE ability, so getting extra War Master procs, not an issue whatsoever. All the champions on this team are fully booked. As far as the gearing for Geomancer goes, good HP, good defense, good speed. Like I said, all the champions are about 230 plus. It's a pretty common theme. Then we have accuracy, which is a little bit more than we actually need, but 331, no problem. It should scale very well up into Nightmare, which I plan on getting this team into the Nightmare level pretty soon. But right now, I'm pretty happy with doing Brutal, full auto, one key without too much of an issue. Next champion is Ugo. Now, Ugo's build is very unique, okay? So she doesn't need this stuff. This one right here, I believe she was in maybe a just Reflex. She didn't have any refresh accessories on. This one, she was just in random gear, okay? So she was just in, I think, like Speed, Perception, and Immortal. It was a pretty messed up build, but both her A2 and her A3 ability are skills that I would love for her to use every single turn, okay? AoE ability that actually hits pretty hard, decreased defense and block buffs. Very, very important debuff being block buffs. So I love that ability, but also I don't have a whole lot of heals. So having this A3 ability with a 20% heal based on this champion's max HP, meaning if she has 100,000 HP, she's going to heal for 20,000 HP, is incredible. So this is a very, very, very important ability to have, especially having it activate as frequently as possible. If you don't have refresh, if you don't have reflex, it's not going to be a huge deal. It's not going to be a deal breaker. Definitely not an issue whatsoever, but I think it's going to add a little bit of extra damage, a little bit of extra survivability to my overall run that I think it's definitely worth having if you can make it make sense. So that's Ugo's build. Same thing, 227 speed. She is slower. I think she's the slowest on the team, actually. So Ugo is the second slowest to Shamel on the team. Next up is Kantra. So Kantra is in Guardian gear. If you can fit Guardian gear on champions, especially champions who don't need a specific gear set, it works out great. If I had refresh accessories, I would put more on her, but they don't really seem to make sense, I don't think, even though this one actually doesn't seem too bad. We lose a little bit of accuracy, but I think we can afford that. So I may throw some refresh because my Kantra also has War Master. I love War Master on Kantra. Fearsome Presence is a very solid second option, but I think the chance to land the fear isn't, or the chance to land the provoke isn't as important as the extra damage from War Master. This has definitely saved me a few times from having champions eaten. So I really like that ability. As far as her skills go, everything's fully booked, like I said. As far as her stats go, 64,000 HP, good defense, good speed. You can see that all the champions' gearing is very similar. We have about 300 accuracy. We have about 50,000 plus HP. We have about 3,000 plus defense. We have 230 plus, give or take, speed. And yeah, it's pretty consistent across the board. Masteries are actually very, very similar as well. The only champion who's pretty different as far as their gearing is Shamel. But that's just because he's slow. I want him to not outrun the buffs. He has Blood Shield accessories. If you don't have Blood Shield on him, it may be a little bit tricky to make him actually tank the Head of Mischief. But this build works very well. We have Blood Shield accessory, we have good resistance, and pretty low speed. So he's going to keep those buffs on him, allow the Head of Mischief to actually target him pretty frequently. He's always going to have at least one additional buff compared to everybody else, being that shield, because he's getting so many counterattacks from that passive ability. So he's always going to have that shield up. So having him as a mischief tank is a very solid option. And once again, War Master. So that's the gear and the builds of all these champions. Let me show you guys the presets of each one so you guys can check this out. We have Necmo, Arbiter, Geomancer, which is very, very important. Make sure you prioritize this A3 ability. If not, he just doesn't use it. We're not using this A2. He doesn't need to remove anything. We have Arbiter reducing the cooldowns, plus we have Cancer who can strip buffs. So Geomancer does not need to use that A2 ability whatsoever. Throw refresh accessories on him if possible. I like Relentless Gear a lot more than Reflex, but if you can get refresh accessories, it's going to be very, very solid. Ugo is right here. Make sure you turn on her A3 ability if you want her to actually do her heals consistently. If not, she does it based on conditions, and I don't really know those conditions, so having it set to second priority just seems to work out the best. We have Shamel. I prioritize this ability. I don't know if it makes a difference, but I have it. And then Kantra, prioritizing her A2 ability as well. Once again, I don't know if it actually makes a difference, but I'm liking it so far. So let me go ahead and jump in here. We'll do the full auto brutal run. I'll run it till about 1 key, and then we'll just cut it and fast forward it to the finishing damage of this run. So guys, I hope you all enjoy this video. Thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.